Hi guys, it's me, Alex, and of course today is Monday, and we are doing our Monday talk with Sassy Dispatch Girl. Well, how's your Monday going? Well, it's usually busy on Mondays in any trucking company. We have to pre-book the loads. We're coming back after a weekend. We need to make sure all the paperwork is done. We need to make sure our trucks are running, invoices are sent, whatever we delivered over the weekend. But today's topic, and you guys already probably seen, what are we going to be discussing? Well, we're going to be discussing DAT load boards. But before we're going to go through that, I want to make sure that all of you are understanding what is the load boards. So let's start from meaning. A load board sometimes is referred as freight board. It is usually online marketplace, and nowadays with all the smartphones, you can have access from your smart device, from all your tablets, and of course your desktop. So this is a marketplace where the truck owners, brokers, and trucking companies meet together, shippers and receivers, to do what? To, of course, exchange services. Brokers are posting their loads. They are looking for carriers. Carriers are posting their equipment, right? Because they need to let everybody know, I'm going to have a reefer in Chicago. I'm going to have dry van in Memphis, Tennessee. Wow, I have 5 power units in California today. This is a way we can efficiently find loads. So instead of cold calling, remember it used to be a long time ago. You had to knock on the doors of shippers, receivers, try to arrange all this movement of freight. Well, guys, it was a long time ago, and industry step up, technology step up, and we have lots of different options. But as many of you know, I am going to tell you what I am using. Since I am being a pro dispatcher for the last 7 years, I run company. Also, I teach classes. So I'm going to give you my overview of load boards, and we also going to have a guest. But I'm not going to tell you who we have yet because it is a big surprise. So let's go. So how does a load board works? Well, usually they are hosted online, and they are monthly subscriptions, and you can have different options. Maybe you just have one user, you can have 3 users, you can have 10 users, and prices different. Every load board has a different prices. Every load board has a different tools. Every load board has pluses and minuses. So let's see. What else can we learn about load board before you guys decide which one to sign up with? Well, I want to tell you that we have 5 on the market right now. The top load boards, and I would like to start with the last one, which is a Trucker Pass. Tell you the truth, never used, don't really know how good they are, but they exist. So they are number 5. Then we're going to Truck Stop. Well, I will be honest with you, still have login, still have the subscription only because I teach classes and I want to give that option to my students to explore. Do I love using TruckStop? No, not really, because I am going to be a big fan of the number 1 load board, and you probably already know which one. So yes, TruckStop is big. They have lots of options, lots of tools. Personally, for me, don't really like having the busy screens. I like to make sure that the loads disappear, and that's one of downfalls I have with a Truck Stop. But have an account for my students who decides to go maybe with a cheaper price, but hopefully they're gonna listen to my advice. Who is a number 3? Well, Direct Freight. Never use them, but they exist. They offer a 15-day trial period, and it's like $34 per month. And you guys can go and probably ask them for the free overview, maybe send you the links, and you can decide if you want to use it. Then we have 123 load board. Again, $35 per month. They have 10-day trial. And if you decide to see how good they are, I believe that you can check the trans credit. They have fuel advances. So they do have some options. All of them are online. All of them going to have subscriptions. Usually, you guys have to decide how many subscriptions you're going to have. 1, 2, 3. If you are independent dispatch service, usually you will need to have 5, 6 subscriptions, because when you log in and somebody else try to log in with the same credentials, you guys are going to be kick each other out. And now let's go back to my number one load board, which I have been using for the last 7 years. I am using it every day, no matter what. And I love the tools. My students, when they have to sign up for the class, before they can actually sign up for the class, they have to take the training, because they need to know what are we going to be working on, what are we going to be looking at, how are we going to be posting trucks, and what it is that gives us that nobody else does. And now I'm going to introduce to you Sarah Allen, and she is a marketing partner with DAT. So I'm going to bring her. And of course, guys, make sure you ask the questions, because she is gonna answer every question you have. So let's bring this Sarah and welcome her to our live. Hey, Sarah.
Hi. Thanks for having me. That was, quite the introduction. That I'll, I don't know if I can answer all the questions, but I will try. I'll definitely give it my best. So
well, let's first start from the history of the Power DAT. When did you start it? Who is the owner of the company? How many employees you have? Where are you guys located? Because it's always important to know the background of any company.
Yeah, and I saw that you had that already a little bit on that slide, so that's great to see. But yeah, we started over 40 years ago here in Portland, Oregon, at the truck stop at Jubit's Truck Stop. So Al Jubitz started the truck stop monitors, where truckers could find loads on the physical load board monitors. So they were those old school large digital monitors with an actual phone attached to them, and you could see all of these loads there, and you could just pick up the phone and call. It actually started on kind of post-its on a bulletin board. Then it evolved to the digital monitors. Then, of course, from there it evolved to fax machines, and then software, and then web-based services, and now mobile app-based services as well. So, it kind of went the whole gamut. We have actually in Jubit's, there's still an old kind of historic digital monitor there, just for, just kind of for the history of it. But yeah, none of those are really there anymore, but that's kind of shows the history. And now, of course, we have our mobile apps that kind of solve that problem for folks who are out on the road that need to find loads. So.
Okay, so you guys started way when the technology was not that advanced, right? And it seems like you took advantage of a lot of new innovations, and you went mobile, you have desktop version. I mean, you went so ahead of time that, most of the load boards did not offer at the time, right? I mean, you were like number one with all the new things, like the driver apps, the different subscription. Now you just added that even if you are independent dispatcher, you can finally sign up for load board. Do you know how important it is? Because I am independent dispatcher. So I also have my own trucking company. But when I book loads for my own company, I don't want to post other carriers, because then they think that it is my company MC. And they call me like, oh, I already set up with you. No, that's not my truck. I am independent dispatch service. So, this is big thanks to you guys, because this makes the life of independent dispatchers so much easier.
Yeah, it just simplifies it. And I think that was just an ask we had for a really long time. So we wanted to make sure that we kind of answered that need, and it made it a lot simpler, because there was a lot of confusion around that. So any way that we could kind of minimize that confusion, kind of open that up to the dispatcher side.
So can we verify? Because still, that, and you receive probably a few emails just because I was sharing your information. So some students were reaching out to you. Can we actually clarify that? For anybody to get the load board subscription as an independent dispatcher, what do they need?
So with the services now, so there's a few services we have for carriers and dispatchers. We have Trucker's Edge, which is for the truckers, dispatchers, and carriers. We also have DAT Power for both as well. However, with Trucker's Edge, you can sign up online no matter who you are. So if you have authority and you have, your MC or your DOT number, you can sign up. If you don't and you're a dispatcher, you can also sign up online for Trucker's Edge. At this point with DAT Power, if you have your MC or DOT, you can sign up online. But if you are an independent dispatcher, you do need to call into our sales reps and sign up through one of our reps over the phone.
But what are they going to be verifying? Don't the person has to have legal company open, at least corporation, LLC? Can it be a physical person?
Yes, they just need to have an established business. So if they have their EIN number, we'll just confirm that they have their business. So that's all they would need to provide. And that compliance check is really key to make sure that everybody who's on our board is legally allowed to move freight. I think that's a big piece, is just that compliance aspect. We want to make sure that it's a safe place to move freight, that people are legally allowed to do that. So that's why we have to have that compliance check to make sure that you do have a dispatching business.
Okay. Also, I have a lot of requests from out of sea, right? We have people who are booking loads and they work in this dispatch service and they are not located. They are outside of the USA. And here's a question. Can the independent dispatch service, which is outside of USA, get subscription?
You do need to have a US address. So in order to sign up for the load board, you do have to have a US address through the FMCSA to sign up for the load board. So that is one of the requirements that we have.
Okay. So what else? So let's look at this. Let's bring back to the screen our questions, and we're gonna see why should we choose that load board. First, let's talk about you guys have 249 million loads and trucks posted annually. This is a huge number. But let's talk about different options, price-wise, and what is the biggest difference?
So I would say there's two different platforms. Right now we have Trucker's Edge, which is really geared toward the small, toward the smalls, kind of the owner operator, small kind of 1 to 3 trucks, or dispatchers that don't need all of the tools necessarily with DAT Power. So DAT Power kind of opens it up, has a lot more advanced features. So it's the live load board. So where you have kind of an automatic feed of loads coming in. You can also do multiple posts and searches simultaneously at once. And there's a lot more advanced kind of filtering, refining options with DAT Power. There's also a market rate index or market conditions index that shows just the supply and demand across the country based on the load to truck ratios. And there's a lot of research tools to just see who are the top posters in your lane. There's a lot of advanced features with Power. So Trucker's Edge has some simple. It's one post, one search at a time. It does have kind of a basic rate tool in there. And then DAT Power is just kind of the more advanced tool.
And I personally use Power Select for $149. And I've been using it for a long time just because let's look at some features. Average land rates, it goes back 15 days. When we compare it to Trucker Edge, it's 30 days. Also, we are adding that assurance. We are adding Canadian loads, and fuel optimization, live load board, market condition is huge. And I'm just telling you, if you really want to be a pro dispatcher, I do believe that you should use the Power Select carrier, just because you need to know what's going on. Because logistics, this is data, right? And if you do not know what's going on for the last 7 days, for the last 15 days, what is the market have been paying, how can you really negotiate the rates? We're talking about spot market, right? We're talking about something exchange, like everybody can see the broker credit. Well, this is good, everybody sees, but to be a pro dispatcher, because what I'm trying to do, I want to make sure that we get rid of the desperate dispatchers. This is a mission of our training center. We want to make sure that we use the best tools, that we have the most knowledge, and we just don't drive the market down, but we're bringing it up by doing a good job, but by booking the high paying loads for our carriers, because this is the main job of the dispatcher. So let's see, here we have some questions. So let's see first, and then we're going to continue. Hello, Alex and Sarah. My question is, if we are signing up as independent dispatcher to DAT Power, how much will be the monthly subscription fee? $149 or different? Well, we have different options, right? So as independent dispatchers, they can choose from Tracker Edge, Power Select, right? And
yeah, so it can start, 149 is kind of starting for Power, but then we have Trucker's Edge as well that starts at $39.95, you know, so there's kind of everywhere in between. Some of the differences between Trucker's Edge too, there's 3 packages in Trucker's Edge. Trucker's Edge Pro does have, it actually does have the 15-day rate average, but the standard and enhanced do not. So I would say that's a big difference there. Is that, you know, the rate tool from, you know, with Trucker's Edge Pro still gives you the 15-day rate average, and that's at $99 a month. So for the rate information, I would say, you know, the lower end products don't really have that information for you. But then $149 is starting for Power. So it just depends on what you're looking for. You know,
what
with
is
Power,
the difference between Power Select carrier and I think our logo's covering the Power.
I think it's Office. It's called DAT Power Office.
Oh, yeah. So what is the difference between those? Just the user amount, or it's extra feature you given with the Power Office carrier?
Yeah, and it does have the rate information is different, so it is a shorter amount of days as far as what you get on Power Office. And you also, I believe you have.
I think this is a question. What is the preferred and blocked companies? Because I don't have that option as a Power Select carrier. This is
right, and that
comes with the Power Office carrier.
Right. So that is one of the tools that does come on Office. So that's a nice feature if you just have companies that you don't want to work with at all, or if you have companies that you really do want to work with. So if you have just a preferred list of carriers that you always want to work with, you can just mark them as preferred, can mark them as a favorite carrier, and blocked if you just don't want to see those companies anymore.
Okay, so if I choose, let's say I choose some broker I don't want to work with, right? So every time I log in, it's going to stay there, or do I have to do it daily?
It'll stay there as long as they've set that. You can always go and edit your list. But as long as you've marked them as blocked, they just won't appear on your list. So you can kind of select, if I want to look at all of my preferred listings or my blocked listings, if I want to edit those, you can do that. Or if you want to look at your complete list, you can do that too. Okay. So it's just a filtering option.
And here's one question. So let's say I am not sure what I want to start. Well, I sign up with maybe $39.95, the Tracker Edge standard. Can I upgrade or downgrade your service at any time?
Always, yeah. It's very flexible. It is a month, it's a month-to-month service. It's very flexible. If you ever wanted to change it, that's great. Did want to mention, of course, that through your class, you do offer a month free. So that is one of those things that you can start. I mean, I would always think, you could start on a higher price point to see what that's like. You could always, if you didn't need all those features, you could always, downgrade from there. But it's a great way to kind of get all those features and to see, what is it capable of. But it's very flexible. You can always kind of change, what your subscription is. So
yeah, and I would like to say thank you again for guys giving us that opportunity to partner up with you and giving us logins for free for the students, because believe me, it helps me tremendously that everybody has their login, and nobody's kicked somebody out, and it just helps them to understand and practice, because you cannot just look at load board for 30 minutes or 20 minutes. You need to go and practice, pause, delete, look at the different equipment. Here's another question we have. Does either of those load boards are for box trucks? Do we have the box trucks as equipment?
So we do have box trucks, but they appear, you'll have to just, it doesn't show necessarily as box truck. So
let me see, because I'm gonna log into one of my load boards so we can see.
Sure.
Let me delete what I was working on today. So if I would like to post for tomorrow, let's say Lancaster, New York, going to Illinois, I can choose by the state. So if I have the box truck, what would I choose? Do we have the box truck here?
So I believe
great box truck, right?
Yeah, you can. So there's a couple ways of doing it. You can, specify the equipment type, or, if you wanted to select, partial, and you could do, partial van, partial, there are.
Okay. So we can go back. So we can go back and we put the van, for example, right? Drive in, but we're going to choose partial, right? And then we're going to save. And this way we have 6 exact matches. But you guys have to understand. Let me add this. If I am just going to take this out, and let's put one of the biggest market. Let's put Memphis, for example, right? Because we were picking up on upstate New York. So let's see, save. So we have 13 exact matches. Plus, we have to remember our life right now. It's already 6:30, 7 o'clock on Central Time. So so we don't see all the posts right now just because it's already nighttime. So in the morning when everybody's posting, it's way more posting. But I mean, you guys offer lots of different variations, and I do have a special video actually on each of your equipment type. I have on YouTube. So if anybody still confused what you can post, you guys need to know, and you need to know abbreviation. So if it's a step deck, it's SD. Step deck or RGN, it can be SR. So as a dispatcher, you guys need to know the difference. Yes, it can be WAN, but it can be different. It can be WAN logistics, WAN open type. So you guys did a pretty good job, because not a lot of load boards are offering so many different type of equipment. Usually they go power only, reefer, WAN, flatbed, step deck, and that's it. So you guys took like extra time to differentiate, because sometimes you really do need that specialty equipment.
Yeah, and I was going to say you can also kind of use the weight and length fields just to get more specific too. And we do have some resources on our page too. We have a blog article that talks about how to look for box trucks specifically. We have a landing page that talks all about how to search for box trucks. We do also have a YouTube video that talks a little bit about that too, and specific ways of using those different fields to narrow down your search, whether it's partial or using the weight and length to search for them. So there's a couple of different ways of doing that.
Okay. And of course, in my class, we go in details. We have homework on it. You need to understand what you're posting, why you have to know the requirements, the weight, the lengths, all other special equipment, swing doors, roll-up doors, translucent ceilings, wooden floors.
Things you would never think about. All the details that you don't even think about.
Yes, it's so important. So let's see another. Which subscription is most popularly used by independent dispatchers? Well, do you have your data? Well, I think it doesn't matter if you are independent dispatcher, if you are just a company dispatcher. Guys, if you want to be a pro, you have to at least start using that 149, the power DAT, because you want to have all those features. I mean, what is your data? I mean, because you know the subscriptions. So what is that?
I don't really have that data on me necessarily. I mean, well, not available currently with, dispatchers versus, versus different sizes of carriers. But as you were saying, I mean, a lot of the points you made are absolutely absolutely valid. Where a lot of the research tools in Power, where we have for instance, a lane makers tool that you can find, top posters for a given lane. You're not going to find that sort of thing in Trucker's Edge, for instance. So just some certain ways that you can find specific companies to work with that makes it a little bit easier than with Trucker's Edge. So some of those additional tools kind of simplifies the process a little bit.
Well, the question from our viewer, if my plan does not have the live load board option, how often does that refreshes?
There's just a refresh button, basically. So you can continue to, it's kind of up to you at that point. You can continue to hit that refresh button and you can refresh your screen.
So in the power plans, right, 99, 149, and the office one, it does automatically, right?
Yep, and it's like a live feed, basically. It just kind of automatically fills in. You don't have to do any sort of manual refresh to see the live or to see the next load. But with Trucker's Edge, you would have to just hit that refresh button.
So let me see. So if somebody is just looking at the board, right, and they're trying to find that load, if they did not hit that refresher, me sitting in my office having that Pro Power board, I already see automatically. So sometimes the people say, well, it's no loads on the, it's no loads. Well, because you have to refresh, right? If you did not refresh, you're not going to see.
You would see different, you would see different information, whether you're on Power or on Trucker's Edge. Really, both are pulling from the same network. Of course, it's pulling loads from the same database. But if you're on Power, you're automatically going to see those refresh. Versus Trucker's Edge, you might not see them as quickly because it's a little bit more manual.
Yeah, so let's see a few extra things which you guys are offering. So it's live, real-time results. So if somebody's posting, you see it right there. And usually it's on the top. When the load is covered, it disappears. So it's just like, it's like a line and it goes down, it disappears. Then you have, I can do multiple searches at once and I can filter by different features. I'm going to show it a little bit, like we're going to finish this and I'm going to actually go to my load board and show some of the features, because for some people who don't really know the load board, it's kind of confusing to just listen to us. But let's see what else they're asking us. Is it possible to book loads and post trucks from different MCs with one subscription?
It would be because you're a dispatcher, you would be able to have kind of multiple MCs under your that you're working with. So we would have those on file, and that's something that we would get from you. So we make sure that, like we said, we kind of know who those MCs are.
Probably Sarah, because you're not a dispatcher, I'm gonna explain a little bit better. Sometimes when I am too busy, right? And I don't want to have 3 different load boards. Or, I mean, they all DAT, right? And I just want to see all my trucks. 2 of them from my company, 3 of them from different carriers, but I log in with my company profile. That's what I was talking earlier about. I would post them. I can see, I can call, and then of course I'm going to say, well, this is truck belongs to this company, MC number. This is truck belongs, but when they call me, sometimes that's when confusion happens because it's posted from my company account. So when they call and we start talking and like, okay, can we check if we are set up? And I'm giving them a different MC. Sometimes they tell me, wow, but it's not posted with that company. And if you explain to them, they can be okay, but sometimes they can be suspicious and they say, well, are you sure you're not double broker in those loads? And I can understand them. So usually I've been doing it for a long time. I usually just tell them, okay, you know what? I just have been lazy today. I am going to log in with a different account and you can call me back. So you can see the truck is going to show up from, for example, Best American Transportation. So that's why when you guys added that feature that you can have load board for the independent dispatcher, where when we post the trucks, right, they don't really show which MC, right, it goes for, right? So then they know, so they know that it's a dispatch service. So I can represent 10, 15 different MCs. But again, do the broker like that? Well, we have a different views on that. Sometimes brokers do not like booking from the load board from the independent dispatch service. And I can understand why, because again, all the double brokering, because unfortunately we have a lot of schemes going on, not just in the truck and transportation.
Right. And we do, and that is one thing that we really call out and want a lot of feedback on, that if there are bad experiences, if there are issues, whatever it might be, if it's trouble getting paid, if it's just a bad experience with a broker, if they're whatever it might be, or with a carrier, either way, for any partner that you work with, we definitely want to hear about that. If there's bad behavior on the board, we want those reported. So that is something that we want to hear about. And a lot of times, depending on what's going on, we'll need to suspend certain folks depending on what's happened. We're not afraid to do that. We want to make sure that, if we need to kind of deal with the situation, suspend an account for it for whatever reason, we just want to make sure that it is, a safe board to work with, and as much as we possibly can, kind of block that sort of behavior from happening.
Okay. So you guys have you have verification department, you have probably some departments which have to do background check on carriers, on the dispatch services, on brokers as well. I can tell you it's not just, the bad apples on the carrier side. We have bad apples everywhere. And you guys, as you are providing the service and you a third party, well, everybody should feel like they are safe, and also they are treated the same way. Just because I'm just a carrier, I don't want to feel like, well, you're not going to be treating me that well just because I'm not a broker, right? So, and that's what I've seen, that you guys are very fair for everybody. Your pricing is a very good price. Doesn't matter if you're a broker, you're a carrier, if you're an independent dispatch service, you don't have like, we're going to give you discounts, but we're not going to give you a good deal. So you guys pretty fair, and that's why I love working with you. But let's go back. Why is it so easy to work with you guys? Well, first, because you guys are helping us to be very efficient. Well, you guys have that. We can have preferred customers. We can block companies. We can monitor all the searches. We can delete, and we can have market conditions, right? But also, I was very impressed that you guys have 887,000 loads posted every day. And some of the features like lane makers, which is, I think it's possible if you have the office subscription, right? This is a feature where you can actually see who are the brokers who working with this lane, who are the carriers who usually take. So this is an extra feature which can help you to grow your company, to maybe become that mega carrier. So another thing, I would love to ask you about this app for truckers. How many users you guys have and how easy it is. Do you need to do updates? Does any phone work? For example, maybe I have Apple and somebody has Samsung. Does it work on any platform, or does it work on only certain platforms?
That is a great question. I don't know what the number of subscriptions or what the number of users are necessarily on those. Just kind of a highlight, we do have a few mobile apps for users. So we have the one that you're showing here. We have one that comes with your subscription that you can access and get some more tools if you already have a load board subscription.
So on this one, I believe that you can, it's free, right? For the every DAT subscribers, right?
There's two. There's a free app, and then there's also a paid app that comes with your subscription too. So there's two options.
Yeah, what about this free driver services app? Who gets this?
Yeah, so this is the free app for any driver, basically, if you're out on the road. This is just, has a lot of, has fuel prices, truck stops, maintenance along the road, truck parking, hotels, weigh scales, and partial load information. So it does give loads, just not the entire database of loads. So this, you will see some loads along with these other driver services that are available along your route. So it's really it's mostly for all those driver services that you need, in finding fuel and all those other things. And you can find some loads. And then with the other one you showed, it comes with your subscription. So it's part of your load board monthly service. And then soon that will all be combined. So that's what we're really excited about. In kind of by the end of this year, we'll have it all as one.
Okay.
Where you'll be able to see, all of the loads within one service and all those truckers, driver services as well. It's really exciting.
Well, that's pretty good. It's going to be easy. But let's just reconfirm, this one is free. So any driver who just wants to use your free driver service app to help them with the truck parking, rate station, they can just download. They don't even have to have subscription to any of your load boards, right?
Right. And it also can help with, if you need a load right there and then, if you're, you can find a load within your area. And if it's within, 250 miles, you can still find a load. It just, doesn't allow for that load planning necessarily, and kind of searching all across the country, but it can help you find a load within your area.
Okay. Let's see what other products you guys have. Well, what is a DAT onboard? And I know that we just added the new class, and we're going to be having training for freight brokers, because usually people start with me, they become dispatchers, and they go and they learn how to do safety, IFTA, then they start running their company, they get to certain amount of the trucks, and they're like, what is next? Well, the next is some of them want to become a freight broker. So we are adding the training, and of course, this is probably a feature for future brokers. So can you tell us a little bit about what is this feature and why is it so important to have it for your new brokerage?
Yeah, so a few things. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit, because you mentioned if you're working with dispatchers, they're evolving their business, they want to become a broker. I did want to mention that we do have an authority team too. So we have our authority group that can help folks get their authority if they're ready to do that. I'm not sure if that's something that you already offer, but we do offer that for
we
brokers.
offer that as well, but I can, as I said, you cannot do everything, and I cannot do everything.
Sure.
As long as everybody does a good job and they don't take advantage of the people, I just want to make sure that they know how to do it correct. Yes, and I saw that feature.
That's great to hear that you offer both sides of the business. That's awesome. And so many people are evolving because of COVID, and for various reasons, people were wanting to expand their business. So that's a great avenue to offer. And DAT onboard is one of those services that just simplifies the paperwork process in onboarding carriers. So there's a lot of headache involved in getting carriers set up, a lot of paperwork to get them just onboarded in your system as a broker. But you need to have all of the information for those carriers in order for them to book loads with you. So onboard really just simplifies that process. We can kind of help you create a website, create a landing page, where it just is pretty seamless in getting those carriers set up. So it just takes a little bit of that legwork.
So this is only $50 per month, and the broker can have their contract there, any forms they want to sign right there, and the carrier would just click on it and just answer, because most of the information is already there. You guys already verified how many trucks they're running. You already verified who their insurance is. They just need to verify the address, maybe the amount of trucks change, but most of it is there. And believe me, in my class, because we do still have to show them how to do the PDF side of business, because we have brokers who did not go yet with the innovations, and they don't use DAT on power or registry monitoring services, right? So they send us the old-fashioned PDFs, and my students are struggling sometimes because sometimes it's not that easy to download the PDF, answer all the questions, then you have to save, then you have to send it back. So this just makes it so much easier. So every time when we have the live practice in the class and we have to set up, and it's come from the onboard service or registry monitoring, they're like, wow, okay, good. So it's going to take a few seconds and we're going to be done. But
that's
when
great.
It comes to the
it does
PDF,
make it a lot simpler and saves a lot of time for sure.
Yes. So,
there's a lot of folks that, it's hard to change. A lot of folks who kind of have their systems down, if they've been in business for a while and they've been using PDFs, it's harder for them to want to use onboard, because it's like, I've been using this for years, why change? But if you're already, if you're starting out and you're brand new, these are just tools that you can implement right off the bat, and then it just makes your life a lot easier.
Is there any setup fees up front, or that's it? You just gonna get the 15 months and you guys gonna do the back end of this process, or do they have to pay up front for maybe you put in their agreements there, or not?
No, it's just a monthly service that they can sign up for, and yeah.
Is there a certain amount of the contracts they can or sign ups they can do per month, or it's unlimited?
That's a great question. I don't know about that. That might be something I would have to get back to you on.
That's okay. We can always send a comment, and I mean we can know everything. I mean you mostly representing load board. I cannot expect you to know everything, and I don't know everything. That's why we're learning, right? That's why we keep going and figure out what is the best out there. So what else you guys have? Well, first, that for the broker. So I just want to make sure that you're gonna have the profile. This is online. We can sign the contracts, agreements electronically. It's fast, and it's no need to retype, and it's going to be right there, and you can add customized messages, because even though those setups come from the DAT onboard, they all different, because brokers, some of them they want extra pages, some of them they want you to answer a few questions. So some of them are simpler, some of them are a little bit complex, but still the process does not take more than 5-7 minutes at tops, and that's what is important. Wow, what is this? TMS. For people who don't know what TMS is, it's a tracking management software. So can you tell me something about your software and how complex this is, and how much does it cost per month, per user, per truck? What is the difference between all other TMS on the market?
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I had a siren going past me, so I got really loud for a second there. But yeah, so we actually partner with Axel, and they offer a carrier TMS. So we partnered with them to offer their services to our customers. So we can offer a special to DAT folks coming through us to sign up for them. And I think I believe it's $70 a month. I need to look at that. I think it's $50 setup fee, and then I think $30 per user. We need to look at that.
So let me just verify for some people. So this is not a product from the DAT. You are partner up with Axel Carrier TMS, and you Correct. Just like I partner up with you, and people sign up to you through our dispatch training center. So this is the same relationship, right? So exactly. This is a product you guys did not really figure out. You not really own this product, but you just the partners.
Yes, exactly. So our so of course our key core business is, are the load boards. We have the rate and analytics tools, and then we want to provide other services similar how you do to offer these other services that you need to run your business. So one of them is with the TMS. We do have our own broker TMS called KeyPoint on the broker side, but we definitely wanted to partner with a carrier TMS as well, and so they have a lot of just AI smart solutions to be able to kind of find the best routes, the best loads available. So that was something that we were really attracted to. So I'd encourage you to check out our website, learn more about them. But we partner with them to offer a special to our customers, and they're a great offering for our customers. And then as I mentioned, we do have the broker TMS service that we do offer ourselves on the broker side. But of course, for carriers, they need that as well. So,
and again, all those TMS, they just help you with your day-to-day operation. This is like your back office. Most of them have IFTA included, their accounting, your management of the equipment, trucks, trailers, safety and compliance, all the information for your drivers, their personal information, all the contracts. So nowadays, I think if you want to succeed, you have to have the TMS, especially. I mean, I believe FMCSA would like to go digital in the next few years. So when you have an audit and you need to submit some paperwork, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to go through the paper files anymore. So everything goes digital, and you really want to have everything in one program. So whatever TMS out there nowadays on the market, they have a bunch of different options. And of course, anybody can look into it. And if they like how easy if they, sometimes people choose the TMS just because of the color. I, for example, partner up with UTech. I like color blue. So that's why probably I love that so much, because blue is my color,
There
light
you
blue,
go.
dark blue. So see, but no, I'm just kidding. I partner up with you guys because you are the best and I'm a pro dispatcher. But also, you are offering that fuel card. So is that something you offering, or is this again partnership?
Yeah, so we do offer the DAT fuel cards. We have co-branded cards with special offerings through WEX as well as Comdata. So we have two different offerings that have exclusive programs, exclusive discounts through Comdata and through WEX. And so that's another just one of the highest costs for drivers. So I wanted to kind of offer that solution too. Again, just what are the pieces that folks need to run their business, just to save time, save money, be able to manage their expenses. And fuel, of course, is one of the highest expenses that they have. So we wanted to be able to give kind of those options with some of the leading providers out there. So,
okay, sounds good. What else you guys have? Wow, you also have trucking and safety regulations help. So I see that you offer IFTA, you offer all the registration, but also I believe you do run safety and compliance for trucking companies. And you have from per truck, right, per month, where you guys probably going to be helping with the hiring, termination, clearinghouse, whatever has to be done to stay compliant on the road. That's what I assume. I did not use you yet for that. I have to look into it just because I also teach safety classes. We're just finishing up one right now. We have 16 students. So I probably would love to get extra information on this, because maybe somebody would love to partner up with you guys.
absolutely, yeah.
So is this your product, or this is a part of partnership?
That is our product. Yeah. So we do have an IFTA team. They handle all of the the IFTA side of things, also vehicle and registration, that side. And then for the clearinghouse side of things, we do partner with Clean Fleet, that does the the kind of the clearinghouse side of things, as well as the drug and alcohol testing, that driver management side of things. So it's kind of balanced between our partnership with Clean Fleet is mostly on the clearinghouse side, but we handle the IFTA, and like you said, kind of that vehicle and registration, permits.
I mean, you also have to have MVRs, PSP, pre-employment verification. You have a lot of things to do to stay compliant. So $17 per truck. I mean, it's not that not much. I mean, of course, if you have just only 1-3 trucks, your price goes a little bit up, because they still have to do all the same paperwork if you have 1 truck or you have 20 trucks. So people have to understand that safety and compliance doesn't change just because you have 1 truck. I have a lot of times when the owner of the company, he's a driver and the owner of the company, and we have a hard time because he's like, why should I hire myself? Why do I have to have contract with me? Well, it is my company. Why should I go for drug test? Well, because this is a regulation. Doesn't matter if you just one person business. You a driver, you the owner, you a dispatcher, you an accountant. The regulation,
and especially if you are just one truck owner operator, you can't do that yourself.
Exactly, because what are you doing? You're still on the road. So a lot of times you should actually look into having the dispatcher, and maybe dispatcher can help you with some safety if they know what they're doing, or you can subscribe to $24 a month. This is just the smallest amount we spend in a trucking. Like you said, we had a fuel before. Fuel is taking 35 to 40% of our revenue. 35 to 40% just goes to fuel. So compared to that, $24 a month per truck, this is just nothing. This is just like almost free bonus for you to stay compliant and making sure that you can still book the loads, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So let's go back to one more feature which we kind of miss: credit of the brokers. Because when we book the loads, right, we need to check the credit of the brokers. So how do you guys get the data? I mean, how do you know if they're still good or not? Where is the data coming from?
Yeah, so we do work with Ansonia guess now purchased by Equifax, but we partner with them to get those feeds, get those data updates for our brokers. And then once you go into the DAT directory, you can research these companies, look at their profiles and see what is their current credit score and how has that changed over the last year. So it's displayed, in the load board, but then you can also dig in and see, how has it changed over time, just to get a better feel for, for what their credit history looks like.
Okay, so let's just show the real load board. So right now I log into my account and I still have posted Memphis, Tennessee for tomorrow, drive in. I'm not really paying attention to any other details, but here is credit score. CS. So if I click, we have from 100 and it's going down. So usually it's going to 95 or 96. So what's happening? Everything in blue on the load board, if you click, it's going to open another window. So in this case, let me choose somebody who has maybe a rating of, 97, right? So I'm going to click. It's going to take me to the information about broker, right? First, you're going to have all full information, where they located, their MC, their phone, even some reviews, right? And then we can see how do they pay today, their credit score. So you can see sometimes it's 95, 97. But let me ask you this. What does you guys have also assurance, right? So what is that feature?
Assurance is basically a tool that if you don't get paid, we work with a third party to work as your collections agency. So if you don't get paid on a load, and you register that load, then, given a certain amount of time, if you don't get paid on that load, we work to collect on that load. And if we can't collect that payment for you, you'll get paid a percentage of that load.
So is that something we have to pay extra?
No, it's just a tool within the load board, and you just need to register that load in order to do that.
Okay, so how do we do that? So let's say this load is right here. Their credit score is 97. So how can I make sure that I register this load? What steps do I need to do?
So there is a button for, I believe, up at the top. There's kind of a tools briefcase section up there. There should also be within the
okay, so here, that assurance, okay.
And then that's the same no matter what load board service you're on. So if you click on DAT assurance, then you can go in and register that.
Should I select this load, for example? Or no? Okay, so let's see. DAT assurance. So if I'm gonna go here, okay, so then I need to put the information about the company, right? And agree to all of this. And then I can, so do I do this every time, or just I need to register and then every load I can choose, it's going to be assured? How does it work? Because actually, honestly, I never use that, because I don't take loads from the brokers who I don't really know or who has less than 97. And also because I'm using factoring company, I always check also on RTS website, because even though maybe you can have great credit score for this guy, but maybe with RTS, they have some discrepancies and the RTS is not gonna pay on that load. So that
if you're factoring too, that kind of, if you have factoring, that kind of works in a very similar way to assurance. You'll get paid no matter what, because depending on, if you're factoring, you already are going to get paid no matter what. Through that factoring company, so that it kind of takes that need to assure that load away. So,
well, I can tell you this. So the biggest plus for being a user and subscriber of your pro account is all these extra tools. Quick rate search, right? So if you guys knew and you don't really know how much you should charge, well, you can choose equipment. And here we just only have van, flatbed, and reefer. And you can put the city. Well, let's say you're talking about the load from Memphis, Tennessee. And it's going to, I don't know, York, PA. You never work on this line, or maybe you are new. You never took your truck there. And you need to know that bottom dollar. So this is going to tell you that for the last 15 days, the market, shipper to carrier contract market, was approximately $3,690. So what I'm telling my students, it is so important to do this step before you start dialing that number, because when they're going to throw that number, well, we are paying $2,700. Well, $2,700 sounds good, but if you don't know that they were paying already $3,690 for the last 15 days, why 27 sounds good? And
Right,
sometimes you need to validate it, right, Sarah? So,
Exactly.
well, we're paying 27. Well, but seems like that the market is paying 36.90. So that's why I need to be at 38, right? Because I'm a pro dispatcher. I need to be at 4,000. First, because I know the cost of the fuel. Also here, it's so important you have the fuel tax, right? You have fuel tax. And what is this going to help you with? Well, you're going to put Memphis, let's say Memphis, Tennessee, right? Memphis, Tennessee. Oh my God, I need my glasses. Memphis, Tennessee. Let's say again, we are going to York, PA. As a dispatcher, round trip. Well, don't you want to see how much actually money you need to run this load, right?
Right. Exactly. And that's those kind of doing the research ahead of time is what is so valuable about it. Doing, kind of the not pre-trip planning, but before that phone call.
Before the phone call. That's why the steps. In my class, I'm telling you guys, the negotiations are going to be the same. Okay, I need this much, what kind of equipment, but the steps, they have to be done before you call, because when you are under the pressure, you're forgetting about checking the things, and you really need to know how much tolls you're gonna have to pay, how much fuel is gonna cost you. So I mean, that's why I'm telling you, you guys, number one for me. Secondary, another one I like, it's a trade lines. You working with the owner operators, right? And every time they're gonna say, "Wow, everybody's running the for example, let's say that he's a reefer, right? And he says, "Well, you're not dispatching me well enough. Everybody's telling me that all their miles are $5 per mile." Well, okay, $5 per mile. Let's talk about it. First, is it local run? Is it a short run? Is it a long run? Is it cross country run? But if the average data for July for reefers, it's 316. Me as a pro, I might be at 350, 360 for all miles including empty miles, because that's what the pro dispatchers do. But do you really think that other company has all their miles $5 per mile? This is the national data. And how you guys get this data? How do you guys know that that's what is exact? Because you have all the brokers, right? You know what they're paying. How is this data? Because students always asking me, how the DAT knows exactly that's why is it 316 right now in July for reefer? Why is it 274 in July for driving? So how do you guys gather that data?
So we have daily feeds that we get for RateView. So we actually built our own rate tool called RateView. And so we have contributors, most of our brokers are contributing rates to actually contribute to this. They could be providing daily rates or weekly rates or monthly rates all across the board, depending on what their service is. And also they receive benefits and discounts for being contributors to RateView as well. So they contribute their rates. And with all of this, we compile it into this kind of big data soup, basically, and kind of and then kind of create the service, to provide trend lines, which doesn't give specific lane rates. It gives lane rates across the country, so it's more regional rates. So that's good to know. At trend lines, it does show weekly changes, but it's by region. So. That's
usually when we are in the beginning of the month, and especially like July, we had a higher rate because the first week we had a holiday, right? It was a spot market. Most of the people were not driving because we had Independence Day. So that's why by the end of the month, it's going to be the realistic data. And students just really asking me, Alex, are you sure they are not lying to us? Sarah, tell us, for everyone, you guys not lying. You're not just making up these numbers, right? You are gathering this data.
We're not, we basically take all of these rates that are fed to us. We don't create any of these rates. These are rates that are fed to us that we receive, from contributors. So I know there are some folks that have thought in the past that we would set rates. We don't have that power. We're not that powerful to be able to actually set the market rates. But we collect a lot of data. So it's really just a matter of the network size, just the amount of people that are actually on the network, and the number of people contributing their rates. So it's part of their service where if they contribute X number of rates, they receive, a discount on their service, or they receive certain perks or certain benefits based on how they contribute their rates. So like I said, if they contribute it monthly, weekly, daily, we compile all of these reports and then kind of produce this sort of valuable,
you're software engineers have special data analytics, and you guys have a great show, actually, data and analytics all the time.
Tuesday mornings. I definitely want to plug that one. That's a really helpful, show that our data and analytics team put on every week, live every Tuesday morning. And that one really great, gives good weekly updates on what are trends looking like this week. We always have kind of special guests that we bring on to interview on what's happening across the country. And I always learn a lot while watching them.
Yeah, I watch it all the time, and hopefully our dispatch training center is gonna grow bigger and stronger, and our YouTube channel. So maybe one day we're gonna be invited, because I would love to talk to those big boys, because they have a lot of knowledge. They have a lot of data.
Absolutely, and we'd love to have kind of different perspectives on with that side of the business too. So
because for me, I come from different angles, because I am a carrier. Then I am also instructor. I teach dispatch. Also, I'm an insurance agent. I also agent for the RTS as a factor. And so when I am looking at the trucking, I'm looking from different angles, as a user, as an owner. And also my husband is also was truck driver. So he used to drive, and we own equipment. So we bought trucks, we rent them, we lease them. So when I am talking about trucking, I can talk in hours and hours and hours. That's why we're gonna be finishing up, because we can stay here for a few hours. But here's another great features you guys have, and I just want to explain to some people. So this is a market conditions. So let's say you can choose time frame today. You can see prior business day. You can choose prior 7 days, prior 30 days. Well, we don't really want to see what's going on 30 days, because you're going to have the data every day when you book in, and quick rate search. But what is important, for example, current today, if I have a, let's say, reefer, and I don't know what's going to happen in some market, let's say Dallas, right? So let's say Dallas, I can apply filter, and it's going to tell me how many loads are going to be in the area and the ratio between loads and trucks. And it's going to actually visually help me. If it's a red color, well, that means that it's a hot area. But here I just want to pay for my students and viewers, pay attention. Red can be different red, because you guys still need to look at the numbers, right? So let's click. Here we have 500 loads and only 58 trucks, right? So look at this ratio, still red. Let's switch to, let's say, same Miami, right? So let's see which color. Hopefully it's also going to be red. Oh, wow, actually it's went to cool, right? Because right now what's happening? It's no produce anymore in Miami. So reefer market is dead. You have to go close to South Carolina. You have to go to Georgia, because Florida produce starts in April. So it's dead. Let's try something else. Let's put Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon, right? That's where you are, close by there. So, wow, this is a yellow. 122 and 122 loads and just 80 trucks. Let's click on here. This is red, same kind of red. But look at this, the numbers are different. 223 loads to 44 trucks. And when we're gonna go back to Dallas, still red, still red, but we're talking about 500 loads. So although it's visually still red, it's visually can be cool, it's visually can be yellow, right? But you need to pay attention exactly for ratio. How many loads are there? And this is something which is very powerful. You can look at the different equipment and see which area you should go. You can click on any states and it's going to show you the data. Even here, if you go on the bottom, it's even gonna tell you when the spikes are going in and which days. Because, for example, reefers, we still go through Saturday, Sunday, so we still have loads on Saturday, Sundays. Dry ones, they have some. Flatbeds usually don't have loads. They don't unload on Sunday. So usually, even that knowing the time when to book the load. So I mean, guys, I can tell you this. I'm very thankful that you created this. And I'm very thankful to partner up with you because in the end of the day, I think we should be on a mission to change trucking for better.
Well, I love your class. I love your enthusiasm. It's so fun to talk with you.
And we appreciate it. I know you're busy. I know it's so hard to find. And you know, you were supposed to just join us for 30 minutes. Sorry, we took a little bit longer of your time. We appreciate it. And we would love to learn about all other products you guys have. We're definitely going to talk with you. And if anybody wants to give you a chance and they want to have that 30 days free of any load board, they can use our code 201-7475. For independent dispatchers, they will need to call and tell that code, and they can get 30 days for free. But guys, keep up a good work. And I mean, we really want to see you creating some other features to make sure that it's easier. Because I mean, trucking
exciting things to come for sure. So I can't give too much away, but there are a lot of new launches coming up, exciting things coming. So
well, I guess, Sarah, then we're going to see you again. When those new features coming up, we're going to see you again. And hopefully our partnership is going to go stronger. And hopefully we're going to see you actually in Oregon. I would love to come and see you guys' office and see how you guys create things. Thanks again, Sarah. It was my pleasure. And we're going to see what classes are coming up. And I will say goodbye to you. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
For my viewers, I will be back after the short video. Thank you, Sarah. And again, it's me, Alex. Thank you for watching and asking questions. I have another maybe 5-6 minutes. And if you guys want me to share how the load board works, I can show you really fast. So if I see any comments, I will try to answer. So right now we were looking at the market condition index. And one more time, pay attention to these numbers. Just because different color red is going to have a different load to truck ratio. So this red, we have 420 loads and we have only 10 truck posted. So that's maybe a good ratio for you to go to if you have a flatbed. And you can go, let's say, compare it to other state. So we are clicking on Nebraska and Ohio. The numbers change. Look at this, only 19 loads. So would you like to go to Oklahoma? Or would you like to go to Kansas? Also, you can change equipment, right? So if you change the reefer, look at this. Wow, you have cold because we choose which area we choose. I think we choose Wyoming and South Dakota. Well, it's not in there. Let's click on a big market. Let's look at Chicago. Wow, right now 583 loads. But again, guys, because right now is a night. So these numbers are not correct because it's already night. Let's see previous day. Apply filter. Look at this. Yesterday we had 3,800 loads for the reefers in Chicago. For flatbed in Chicago, we had 3,800 as well. What's gonna happen with dry vans? Well, let's see, 6,000. So just looking by the numbers, if you have dry van and you are in Chicago area, it's just nonsense if your dispatcher cannot find the load. Could you repeat the promo code? It's right here. Get your month's free sign up. Here's the link, and we also posted the link in the beginning, but this is 201-7475. This video is going to be posted on our YouTube channel. It's also going to be on our Facebook, and you guys have the links. So if you want to decide to give a chance to that, please use that, and you're going to have 30 days for free. What else? Well, let's go back. Equipment. So anytime, it's so easy. You can copy your post. You can edit your post. You can delete your post. So if we're going to be adding, let's say you made a mistake, right? And you do not have the when, you have actually rented when. You can add it right here. Rented van, save. Okay, 1,525. Well, it's going from Memphis, but would you like to post truck Memphis everywhere? Well, this is nonsense. You cannot look at 1,525 loads, guys. Your brain is going to be hurting you because like, oh my God, which load should I call? First, you always need to organize the closest loads. But even this needs to be modified. And my students know that we need to have a plan, right? So is this guy going to East Coast? Is this guy going to West Coast? We can say that we're going to be choose by zones. Let's say he only stays on Midwest. We can choose Z4, Z5, Z6, Z7. So previously we had 1,500 loads. Let's save. Well, now it's 788. Isn't it a little bit easier for you guys to start looking at the data? Again, you're gonna click on a deadhead, because remember, no one pays for the empty miles. Plus, we are on ELDs. We have only so many hours, 11 hours to drive. If you are booking load 200 miles from your previous delivery, do you really think you ever going to be able to make the transit? No. And it's up to your dispatcher. So which loads I'm going to be calling first? Well, of course, guys, this is going to be my first choice. The loads exactly in Memphis, Tennessee. And a lot of times it's going to be even the same facility. The professional dispatcher, before we hang up that phone, what are we asking? Do you have any backhaul? Do you have any loads from this facility? And my students already know that we cover that in the classes. Guys, it's always me, Alex, and I am trying to change this industry for better. Please support my channel, subscribe, because I would like to make sure that all of us are doing a great job. Please don't be a desperate dispatcher, be a pro. And a pro dispatching starts with a good load board, with negotiation skills, with logic, with understanding hours of service, with knowing your safety, with understanding how to file IFTA, and know how to run trucking business. And I'm here to help you out. We guys have so many different classes. You can visit us and sign up for our new classes. We have broker training coming up, our brand new class in September. I am going to be teaching it with other 2 brokers who've been in industry for the long time. Also, remember, do not miss our August class. Lots of people wait till the last minute and they get disappointed that we don't have spots anymore. We are 75% sold out. The registration is going to be closing, I believe, in 4 days, because all my students, they have to pre-study, guys. You cannot just sign up for class. You need to start learning the market. You need to start learning the load board. So when the moment you register for my class, you're going to have the free access, and you need to start practicing. And then I'll take you further every day, every class. We have so much information. and we have the real practice. So you will be calling, you will be booking that load, and hopefully one day you're gonna tell me, well, Alex, thanks to you, I became the mega carrier. Thanks to you, I passed my first audit. So please visit our website, learn dispatch today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, today. And today you learned something new, and I'm very, very thankful to all my supporters. So please like, share, subscribe, comment, and you can always reach me on Facebook, on email. You guys can call me. Usually I answer everyone because I am on a mission to change trucking for better. And again, our next live is going to be on August 2nd, because I'm taking vacation. Actually, maybe I'll do the live from Aruba. If not, we're gonna be having a live with a southern brokerage firm. We're gonna have 3 brokers who have been doing this business for more than 35 years, and we're gonna see, are they gonna give the chance to the new carriers? What are they looking for? What are the dedicated lanes? And we gonna see how to build relationship, loyalty, good booking loads, and how to make sure that you choose the right brokers. Who are the right brokers? Do you think just because they paid you for one load, are they good brokers? How's their credit score? How do they treat you? Are they loyal to you? Are they taking advantage of you? Are they even gonna give you a chance? How long do you have to be in business? How they verifying information? And we're gonna really pick on kind of tricky subjects. So hopefully I'll see you soon. Everybody, please enjoy summer. And I'm just gonna say goodbye. Please use the code, subscribe, and my new students, make sure you're getting ready for that class, because classes are intense. Love you all. See you guys soon. And one more time, our next